thing. So it doesn't matter whichever commodity that you are in, whether it's vegetables, crop farming, livestock, your piggery, sheep, or you are in egg farming, the principles are the same. You must just follow the right principles. So the first and foremost, the very important thing about farming. There's this quote I also love. I love quotes. I like motivational quotes and stuff. So this one says you don't need to start big. You also don't need to start small, but you just need to start. So that's my favorite line. And my husband, we know we must just start. Doesn't matter whether it's small or big, but just start. And then a lot of people would say, Ish, I want to go into farming, but I don't have, oh, sorry, but I don't have land. And we know land is a big issue, especially in our country. Like getting land is, I don't know, it's just difficult. Either you've got millions to buy land or you just don't have land. But that is not an excuse. You can also start with what you have where you are. So there's different types of farming. Like, there's stages, or I don't know how to call it, but we have let's say you don't have land to farm. You want to farm, you've got, let's say, money, a little bit of money that you saved aside, but you don't have land. You can be a secondary farmer. That's how we started with my husband. We were living in a complex estate. This estate, there's no where you can even plant. But because we wanted farming and we started by enjoying it, so we said, okay, how can we start? Then we started by being the secondary farmers. Secondary farmers means there's a primary farmer. Primary farmer is who we are right now. Like we actually are the ones who are growing the chickens, or the ones who's planting vegetable, the crop. Those are primary farmers. But the secondary ones, they are the middlemen. Like they are those that say, I'll order from you and then I sell to the client. So if you don't have land but you want to start, you first become a middleman. Get to the labels there who are primary farmers, go to them, get whatever you want to sell from them and resell, have your markup, and then resell to your clients. So in that way, it's also teaching you principles that you couldn't learn. So that's why I say you must just start, because it's going to teach you how to do your marketing. It's going to teach you how to sell, to interact with people, your logistics, how you're going to deliver. It's going to teach you that, but yet you don't stress with the primary, because every stage of farming has its own stress, whether you're a primary farmer, a secondary farmer, or you are there, because there's a huge value chain of farming. Primary, secondary, there's the logistics of delivery. If you want to go into delivery, there's cold storage. If you've got a room, you can just rent it out for people like us who want to store our chickens there. Then there's also, it's cold storage, and then abattoirs, where you slaughter your chickens or your kettles or whichever. So it's a huge value chain that you can actually try and fit in. So you don't have to all get the land to actually start the farming. You can also be an agro processor, where you just buy tomatoes there and make your gravies in your tins, or apricot. You can make your jams. So there's quite a lot of things that you can do even if you do not have land. So now one would say, okay, I still don't have land, but now I have money. Where do I go for land? If you've got millions, there's a lot of agents you can contact around your area. If you don't, like us, we went to the chieftaincy, the rural areas, where you go to the chief tribal union. You go there, you ask for land, they give you a land, we call it a permission to occupy land. So they give you a PTO, you go there, say, I want to farm maybe vegetables, or I want to put chicken cages, and then they give you the PTO, depending on the what you want to do actually at the time. So there's quite a lot. Don't just stay in the townhouses and say, ish, I want to learn, but I don't want to go to the rural areas. I don't want to live. You have to prioritize which is important for you. If you want land and you really want this thing, just go to the tribal, ask for land. They will give you plenty of land. So, and it's quite cheap, but it's renting, it's not yours, but they will lend you for as many years as you want to use it. But make sure that there are many options where you can just get land. So now let's do the what did I leave? If you've got okay. Now the first step, let's say now you've got land or you don't have land, you've actually come up with a way of doing your farming. The most important thing, I've seen a lot of people get rejected, or somebody will just wake up and say, I want to do farming. Let me go to the agricultural office. Then they say, okay, do you have a business? No, your business not even registered. So whenever you treat, that's why I'm saying treat farming as if it's like any other business. You must register your business. Whether you have started farming or not, it is very much important. How do you register your business? Because I've heard a lot of people say, no, it's actually 1,800 to register a business. No, to register a business, it's 175 rands. You go on CIPC, it's there on Google. CIPC login, you go and register, and then you pay the 175 rand. 50 rand will be for your proposed names. Let's say you want to call it Precious Farming or Lebohang's Group Farming, but you must have at least 3 names that you're going to name your company. And then the first one, whichever, if it's not used by anybody, they're going to give it to you. You'll get your CK number. That is very important, guys. You cannot go anywhere or request funding or if you do not have a registered business. So it doesn't matter whether you are farming a small spinach at the back, register it, be professional, and don't have this mentality that, I'm just selling to the neighbor. See yourself as a commercial farmer. Because if you start now seeing yourself as there, you'll start fixing everything now. Like your registered business must be, that is for SARS. That is very important. Then the second one, you must, okay, and when you register your business, you must have your certified ID, your business stand. Let's say you don't have a land, you are using the backyard. Your house could be a business stand. So you don't have to say, no, but I don't have land. What am I going to use? You can still use your townhouse as a business stand. It doesn't really, as a business stand, it doesn't really have to be a farm for you. You can always change at a later stage whenever you get a huge land or a bigger land. They do allow you to go back and say, no, I've relocated, I've changed the addresses of my business. So you just change it. So for now, just register it. And then you open a business account. Like I said, farming is like any other business. Why do I say you open a business account? Okay. When you want funding, or when you go to any institution, financial institution, and you want funding, because I hear a lot of people, I want to start farming, but I want funding. Nobody's gonna give you money without you starting. You must at least have started, even if it's just 1 hectare or just a small space. So no, I've got this, I'm planting this, I'm selling to my neighbors, I'm making 50 rands a day. Then somebody has confidence in you compared to somebody who says, no, I haven't started. Can you borrow me 500,000? Who's gonna give you money and risk their money? What if you down, because you remember that people who are excited and then the following day they're not excited once they realize that it's not a fun or a nice business, this one, and then they leave. What about your money? So you must start your business, and whenever because they always come to verify you as a farmer. So if you apply for funding, they will put everything and they will ask you, what are you farming? You right? No, I'm a chicken farmer, poultry farmer, or I do crop farming, or I farm spinach. They will also want to come to your place and check, okay, she is really farming and she is really in business. So what is the proof for that? It's your financials. So if you don't have a bank account, if they pay you in your hand and it just disappears, you don't even know where you are putting your money, then it's a problem because they can't trace. So you must have a record. It's like a CV for them, like references, or this person is making so much money per month or per year, or so you need to build a reputable how can I put it, reputation for your business. So let's say another a very important that I feel like most of us fail, especially farmers, is that, okay, I've got a business account. Now you use the business account to swipe kids' clothes. You can't be doing that with a business. It doesn't matter whether it's just making 500 profit. You can't. You treat your business account like it's going to be audited because SARS is going to need that business account. So if you've got a business account and I'm selling chickens with that business account, my clients need to know and understand that you can only make payment on the business account. I'll give you my business account, you deposit, because the money needs to be traceable. So you can't be saying now Precious gave me 1,000 rand and I decided to eat it with my friends, but now it's not balancing. You must just start small and be disciplined with your money. So you cannot swipe at Rage or Ackermans or Woolworths, decide to swipe Kids Vest, and then with using your bills, you rather pay yourself that salary. Say, I'm paying myself 500, it's my salary, and then you use that 500 rand from your personal account, you can swipe it as long as you're going to have proof that where did the money go. So a lot of people fail, especially with funding, especially farmers. I remember when we were applying for the COVID relief fund, a lot of them were getting rejected, and others will call in whenever we go to the maybe agricultural, yeah, but I'm making so much money. And then they were like, but your business account is not making sense. Like, there's just a lot of things that are not making sense, and you get rejected. So don't fall into that trap. Make sure and you must use your business account to swipe for feed. You must use your business account to buy anything business related. Keep the slips, keeps the slips. If you're going to buy 2 bags of feed for your chickens, keep the slips because you're gonna need it when you do your returns. Because remember, every financial year you need to report back to SARS and say, this is what I did with my bank account. I've used this much. This was the income. These are the salaries. This is what so you need to, and it also helps with VAT. Because if with VAT, they say you must raise, I think, voluntarily VAT, you must have 50,000 in 3 months, then you can apply for it. That also helps, especially when you want to buy your farming things. So try to keep your farm, like your transaction of farming, like you must just be strict when it comes to your money. If you want to use money from your business, rather write it, this is my salary, this is my husband, this is my workers, but it must make sense. You can't be playing with your bank account. Then, most importantly, another point, branding. It's very much important to brand your product. It doesn't matter whether you are selling beef or spinach or chickens or what. Make sure you brand, you have a logo, It doesn't matter if you're starting small. That's why I'm saying start small, but make sure you follow the right procedures. You can copy the ones that have made it big, like your Goldies and stuff, even if you are selling like 10% or even 1% of what they are doing, but make sure that, what, I'm here, this is Lebohang, I'm selling this chickens and Ganyezi, this is my logo. So everybody can recognize you and they see that, no, this person is taking herself serious. Don't just do it, for the fun of it. Learn and research. You cannot be a farmer without doing research. Research every day. Google must be your best friend. How do I do my branding? What is needed? Like, for an example, I'm going to give you an example of what you need for the brand. I'll reference to the chickens because that's what I do. So, like for your chickens, if you want to do branding, because branding is very much important. Even if you want to supply to big retailers, they want your brand. Like, they want to see the following in your branding. So you must have a South African flag if you're from South Africa. I'm not sure about other countries though. I'll assume we're talking about here. So you must have your South African flag on your brand. You must have contact details at the back. You must have your business address at the back. Your storage. How do you store your your thing? Your chickens, for an example. And then your logo must be there. Your barcode. Barcode is very much important. You might say, but now I'm selling to informal market. It doesn't matter. Well, like I said, treat your business like you're a commercial farmer, even if you're still a small scale or a emerging farmer. Treat it like you are already there. Then people start seeing you, like a serious person. So you can't be saying, what am I going to do with a barcode? How is it going to help me? Anyway, you just do it once and then you pay the annuals. So if you want to know where to get your barcodes, go to GSM1. That's where we buy our barcodes. Barcodes, you can take it anywhere. It's your number. Then if they want to recall that number, they just say this number with so many digits must be recalled. Maybe there's a problem with the meat or there's a problem with something. So it helps you and it protects you as well. So remember, with farming, we are selling food, and food is very important, and you can actually get jailed if you don't follow the right. That's why I'm saying research, research, research. And your agricultural office, they must be your friends. You must always go there, guys. I want to do this. What must I do to be compliant? They'll give you they are there to serve us. They're just waiting for us to go there. Whether you are young, food they want young women. If you are young and you are black, you've got an advantage. They want us actually. So if you are less than 35, please use the opportunity, because once you are over 35, it gets a bit, they're like, oh, okay, you're a woman, we can use you. If you're a man, it gets even harder the more years go, because they're targeting mostly young people, disabled people, women. They're trying to balance the scale. So even the size of kgs in your packaging, you must try. If it's 2 kg, write 2 kgs. If it's 1.6, write 1.6. And then you must also have your best before. Like, when is your product going to expire? When was it like chickens, when were they slaughtered? And when are they going to expire? Those are the requirements that you need remember, you cannot be a small scale farmer forever. At some point you need to grow, but the only way to grow is for you to actually treat yourself and see your business as a commercial business, even if you are still a small or emerging farmer. And then another thing, you must have a product list for your company. If Precious says label, I want to see what are you selling. It must be easy to say, no, this is my product list. What do I mean by a product list? A product list will list, okay, this is Precious Farming. We farm spinach, we farm cabbages, we farm onions, tomatoes, and then you also have your price list next to it with the barcodes. So that will assist anyone to say, oh, okay, with Precious, I can get this, and that. And then if it's for chickens like me, my product list, you will have drumstick, a whole chicken, wings. I list all of them. This is what I'm offering with their barcodes, and then with the price list on the side. Then you know that even if it's a retail, say, no, give us this, everything is just here. You don't say, oh, let me go and type it, let me go and do it. So you can have everything ready. So whenever a big opportunity arises, you are ready. So rather have everything right and then wait for that. Okay, they say I've got 10 more minutes, and then we must do our Q&A. And then what did I leave behind? Or also have an accountant. An accountant is very much important. If you're still starting small, make sure you keep your slips, and then it can be easy for you when you do your SARS, so that you don't have to run around looking for slips that you lost, whether for petrol, or you always have your things in place. So farming, you can make money, there is money, and you can be broke. So once you follow the right procedures, it's impossible for you to actually be broke. Another very much important, that you can still grow good vegetables or good chickens, but if you don't know how to market your product, it's going to be difficult. With farming, we work in numbers. It's not like a house where you can just sell it once and make 400,000 per day. No, you say it's a game of numbers. So the more you sell, the more you make money. So you need to be out there. You cannot be a private person when it comes to your business. You need to be out there. People need to know that, oh, there's Lebo, the chicken, mother of chickens. They need to know, oh, if I want chicken, I'll go to Lebo. So you can't say, no, I'm farming chicken, and then you are quiet. You don't even know whether you are doing business. One moment you are here, the next moment you are quiet. You just have to be there. Consistency. Then you know that you have won people. And advertise. There's word of mouth, neighbors, Facebook. We're no longer posting pictures and getting likes. No, now we make it work for us. Now it's about business. If I post something, I know I'm gonna get a client on Facebook. Do we still have the 10 minutes, or can we start with the Q&A?
You have about 5 more minutes.
Oh, goodness, I tried though. All right. So, like I said, guys, Google is your best friend. So you can start anything. We are self-taught farmers, my husband and I. We used to Google a lot. YouTube was our best friend. So we never went to school to say, how do we start our business? We used YouTube, we used Google's. I'll call around and have mentors. And don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm here, I want to do this. Can you hold my hand? There's a lot of people who like to help others. It's not everybody who's selfish or who'll hide information. Gone are those days where you just want to win alone. Now if we can all farm, if we can all make our own food, then poverty will be a thing of the past. But as long as we still have that mentality that you want to be, the wealthy one, no, then it's not going to be possible. And last but not least, if you want to start your business and you haven't started, always know the reason why you're doing it, because that you're gonna need it when it gets tough. Because it's not like farming is nice, hey, we're making money. No, there are very doom days, and you're like, yo, goodness, why did I start this? But if you know your why, like for us, it was we wanted to add an income, extra income, but then we grew to love it, and we were like, no, but we can actually leave a legacy for our kids. You know, with the state of how the country is going, you're like, if I die, what's gonna happen to my kids? 10 years, 20 years from now, what's gonna happen to our kids? So we have to leave a legacy. We cannot now say, I was born. No, we need to be responsible enough to know that we've left something for them, and teach them as we go. You know, be with them, show them how it's done, so that when they take over, then the business doesn't die. That's what I'm saying. Your why, it's gonna help you when things get rough and when things get good. You know, you remember, oh God, the reason was this, was not to be famous or anything, but the reason was for my kids. I'm doing this for my kids. So that's why we did it. I think my 5 minutes is over.
Oh, Lebo, your 5 minutes were not yet over. I'm sorry if you felt rushed through. I was really enjoying this. It's so insightful. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. I would like to open it to the attendees first, to the guests. Is there anyone with a question first before I start asking my many questions to our gorgeous farmer? Whilst we wait, I wanted to just find out from you, Lebo, are there any produce or crops that people can farm that are like cash cow crops?
Can you repeat?
Are there any like vegetables, or even in the animal husbandry farming, is there anything that people can farm that is like quicker? I mean, if you're trying to, is there anything maybe in the terms of vegetables, or the chickens, or anything in the animal husbandry category?
With vegetables, okay, I'm not a vegetable farmer, but I've got friends who are vegetable farmers, and most of them, they say spinach sells a lot, and spinach is quick to actually grow, because I think it takes about 6 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So it takes about 6 weeks, and then you start selling, and you can harvest as many times as you can with spinach, as long as you're not uprooting it from the roots, and you're just cutting on top. Then you can also harvest every now and then. So most of them, they sell spinach, and I've seen cabbage as well. It's also going tomatoes, and they're very, very scarce tomatoes. And tomatoes are also making money, because have you seen the kilo of a tomato now? It's quite expensive. So you must know when to plant when. Don't just plant anything. So you must have that program. But the quickest is spinach, that I've seen. Even myself, when I planted on my backyard. I planted spinach, and I'm still eating it even now. Like, we're still harvesting it from last year. It grows, and then we cook it, and then it grows again, then we cook it. And then in the animal husbandry, it's the chickens. Chickens take 6 weeks to grow, and you are just there. It's 6 weeks you sell. It's a month and 2 weeks you sell. 6 weeks you sell. But I'm not sure about the kettles, because I know a kettle you can get. If you buy one, and then it'll start every year, it will give you another one. So it depends on where you are. Even with pigs, I've noticed with my friends that I have who have piggery, if it starts giving out, I don't know, the piglets. Do they call it piglets? You know, it's quite you get 25 piglets at a time, or 13. I'm not sure about the numbers, though. Forgive me, because it's not my subject expertise. But chickens, spinach, those are the ones that you can make quick money from it.
And I think I would just want to maybe put you on a spotlight on the chickens.
Yes.
If you, for instance, if you get 100 chicks, how much of food or feed do you need for that? And just like for a normal person who is starting to farm, what is it that they might really consider? What is small scale? I mean, if they can put all of that into consideration, all the things that you spoke about, the branding, the product life, the product list, and all these things. what is the minimum and cost in terms of cost? What does it mean? If it's 100 chicks, I have them for 6 weeks. What does it mean in terms of cost?
So in terms of cost, to raise about 100 chicks, you will need maybe 7 bags, yeah? 7 to 8 bags. It will depend on which manufacturer or which, I can't now be promoting. Yeah, but it'll depend because there's quite a lot of stores that sell feed. So the quality of feed does also play a role in how many bags you will need to grow them. So there's quite a lot. We've got Alzu, we've got Rose Grow, we've got Feed Master. There's quite a lot in there. You can just research, but around about 7 to 8 bags of feed for the 6 weeks. And then you will need your medication, obviously your stress pack. Remember, when you move chicks from one area to another, let's say you are moving them from hatchery to your farm, they're very sensitive to new environments. So you need to, others, I've heard others say they put the brown sugar just to calm them, others aloe water, others it's stress pack. We normally use stress pack because I haven't tried the other ones, so I use stress pack. So that's medication, and that's your antibiotics as well if they're sick. And then you also need Gombora. There's actually a vaccination program that you need to give to them. So it will tell you that at day 1, you give them this, day 20, you give them that, day 14, you just follow that. But medication, roughly, it's not quite expensive because I normally work with big numbers, so I can't really recall. I've never, 100, it's too small for us, but it won't be more than 500 Rand for medication, if there's one thing I remember, if it's 400. Because for about 1,000, you spend about 2,000. For 1,000 chicks, you spend about 2,000 on medication. And then you need water. Chicks need clean water. You need clean water. Obviously, electricity, you must put into consideration because there's lights. Chicks needs to be warm, especially when you arrive from day old. There's a program as well that shows you that at this day the temperature must be this much, and as you grow, you reduce the temperature. So at first, the first 2-3 weeks, you're gonna need a lot of electricity because you'll be keeping your lights on almost for 24 hours. But as the weeks progresses, then you start now decreasing the light so they can stop eating. Because remember, with chickens, they eat like 24 hours. But you need to control. It's like babies. Most babies, when they're still young, you can feed them the breast milk. They will never say no to it. So you must just time them so you don't have an obese kid. So sometimes if you don't do it, yeah, they can have heart attacks. So management of that, it's very important. And what else did I leave? Ventilation as well. You must make sure that your coop has right temperature around it, so you don't have them dying, because they're very sensitive. If it's too cold, if it's too hot, and you must also invest in the thermometer where you just measure your temperature in the coop. So like I said, there's also a program which shows you that at this age the temperature must be this much, at that age. So especially if you're not there, remember there's automated houses. There's houses where you do it physically, where you need to control the temperature, you need to control everything. But if it's automated, then it will just sense the temperature and it will do it. If it needs heat, it will release heat. If it needs clean, not clean, maybe cold nyana, it will do that. And even feeders, it does it automatically. Water, it does it automatically. But water, you must constantly give them water. And you need to study them in the coop. If they are together and you can tell that no, they're feeling cold. If they are just walking around, then you know that your temperature is fine. They're able to go and eat. Yeah. So it's for 100, you'll need plus minus 5,000 for just to start. Yeah. And then you can make a profit. You can make a profit of 3,000, because if you sell it by 70 or 80, 3,000, you can make a profit out of it. If from day 1 to slaughter and branding and everything, and obviously paying whoever's gonna grow them, or if it's you, the salaries, 3,000, you can make a profit out of 100 chicks. Who will give you 3,000?
Nobody.
Nobody. And you can control your salary. If you want more, you put more chicks.
Yes.
That's the
I
nice
guess
thing.
anyone with a question before I go in with my second question? I'm gonna ask my second question while someone gets ready with theirs. So I would want to check on the organic and health angle that people are driving towards these days. How do I farm chickens that are organic? How do I farm chickens that are GMOs? And then maybe if you can also get into depth on the issue of marketing. Are there markets that are readily available for us to sell chickens? And also, does that organic and non-organic also play an important role in terms of market and pricing?
Okay, with organic and non-organic, honestly, I think it's a person's choice, because when people want chicken, they just want chicken. They don't care whether you given them medication or not, they just want to eat chicken. So I haven't heard somebody say, no, are your chickens organic or not? They just want chickens. As long as you, because remember, even with the feed, when you okay, there is medication, right? But with your feed, as I agree, you've got your starter, your grower, and your finisher. So it's important that you give them all three, because now the finisher will detox all the medication that you've been giving the chickens. So you cannot bypass it. And then there are those who I've seen somebody on Facebook say they're not giving their chickens any medication. And then he's been doing great since March. I'm like, oh wow, I've never seen such. But the one thing about chickens is that once one gets sick, they can all die. Like, they can all, if it's just one coughing, it's easy for them to transmit the disease. So I believe in that prevention is better than cure. And then in terms of your second question, to where you say, is the market readily available? It all comes back to marketing. How you say, there's quite a lot of people who need chickens. Even now, we cannot even meet the demand, because now we have to take from, we've heard that we have to take from Brazil and from other countries. It means we still can't meet the demand of South Africa on its own. So everybody wants, and chicken is the safest and cheapest meat that you can have, because kind of your stew, it's very expensive. Everything is just expensive these days. So chicken is the cheapest. Beef, yes, beef is the cheapest for now. But beef is expensive. Chicken is the cheapest and healthy because it's white meat. So there's not much diseases around chickens. So in terms of organic and non-organic, it's a debatable issue. It all comes back to you as a person. Like, there are those, I remember the past Saturday I was attending a session. Somebody said they don't use what do you call it? The herbicide or something, where you spray something. They just use natural things. Others use it. So it all boils down to what is it that you prefer and what is making money. And you have to do your margins and calculate where can you save, because at the end of the day, you are running a business. You must make a profit out of it. So if growing them organically, it's saving you money or it's making you money, then go for it. And if introducing medication and treating it like you're following the right medication, then it's also one thing that I don't like. It's the brine, the brine where you inject your chicken so they can get weight. I don't like that, because it's more water than it's not natural. Because even when you boil it, most you can see that foam. So that's the brine actually injected for, when you sell chickens, you're working with kgs. So you want per kilo. So others will inject brine so that it can be heavy. You'll find that maybe the chicken was 4 weeks or 3 weeks, and then they inject brine and becomes all big and yeah.
And
so market is there. It's just a matter of you branding yourself and just being out there attending and just sell, and make sure that you sell quality stuff, because the reputation is there. Because if I sell something that is not fresh, it's rotten, obviously you're gonna tell the next person, I tried supporting label, but hi, chickens, so don't rush money. Actually rush making sure that you deliver good quality. You rather have your customers wait for you than say, no, let's quick and give them, not health, fresh things, because that might damage your reputation. And your reputation in business is very much important.
And at the other time, I must admit, I got about 4 chickens that were rotten, if not 5. Yeah, they were rotten. And cooking them in the house, you're like, what? I just bought chicken, that the chickens that are rotten in my house, it didn't sit well with me.
And you'll never go back to buying from that person. They're like, hey, you see now, we're trying to support them, and the next thing they're selling this rotten things. Sometimes when you're rushing money.
No, I
Sorry.
understand. It's okay. Anyone with a question? There is yeah, say you can go ahead. I'm not sure. Mr. Nyadzani? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So you're not the first person who can actually pronounce my name. Even Lebu here, has some sort of difficulty. So yeah, I've been quite following Lebu in most in her Facebook and also attending some of her seminars, and it's quite inspirational just to hear someone of from her background and who has achieved so much. I just want to just say big ups to her before I ask a question. So for someone who is like me, I'm just gonna give you a background of who I am. I'm still a young person. I honestly don't have any background of agriculture. My parents actually also don't have any background. I was born in Venda, and then we moved to Soweto, and then I had to go to school and varsity and all that. So right now, I've been learning a lot in terms of the poultry value chain and the supply chain, from where it starts from the farmers and people that are involved, all stakeholders that are involved, the feeders and all that. So I was trying to get my foot in it, where can I bring value to the society and the value chain. And from my research, I found out that the South African poultry industry is not really competitive as compared to USA and all the big players of the world. And one of the reasons from that is that the marketing and also the cost of feeds. There's the people who are in the top players of the feed roles, kind of determine the prices. And currently, it's why most poultry farmers, emerging poultry farmers, kind of go out of business because of the high cost of feeds. So my thinking was around there. So it's either marketing of try to enhance emerging farmers, the marketing strategies, in terms of maybe using digitalization and all that. The other one was getting my foot on the feed industry. So when I was trying to research on the feed industry, how they produce feed, they have to have some sort of a production line, all the ingredients and all stuff, everything that has to feed in the production line to come up with the end product. I found out that actually, there's a lot of things one has to do in order to get the end product. And, that can be demotivating for someone who wants to get their feet on the agriculture industry, who they don't have any experience in terms of, agriculture and everything. So what kind of advice would you give me, Lebu? What can I do, to just to make sure that my dream or my business idea is out there, it's kind of successful. What advice can you give me?
Thank you,
sorry
sir.
for rambling a lot. I
No,
speak a lot.
It's okay. I'm sure you wanted to give a background in context. Go ahead,
Okay, cool.
Lebo.
So I remember the last question. Pardon, I had my daughter. She can be demanding at time. So your question, if I get it right, is that what can you do to actually be in the business? Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely.
Okay. One thing I've learned about agriculture or being in the poultry is that you cannot do it alone. It's too big. Even the feed, if you are alone, it's too big. Hence, also, my husband and I partnered with other farmers. I think we are 3. So what we've decided to do, because feed was killing us, it is so expensive, and you cannot now go to your clients and tell them that, hey, I'm increasing the price of the chicken. They're going to run away from you. They're going to go to Spar, because remember, Spar is selling at 50-something rand a kilo, or they're gonna go there. I mean, we can't now be blackmailing people and say, hey, support Black, what. No, we can't be doing that. So we sat down and said, okay, how can we now minimize the production cost so we don't find ourselves trying to force people to sell, to buy at a higher price? Then we're like, let's buy in bulk. Then in that way, if you group yourself with other like-minded farmers, because remember, it's very important who you partner with, because others are so negative, and ethics are not there, integrity as well. So so you need to give yourself time and pray that God, just give me the right partners to help me do this thing. But alone, it's not going to help you. Find farmers around you who would like to do what you are doing in your area. And once you start engaging in that, even on Facebook, ask around, guys, is there anybody who would want to partner with me so we can buy in bulk? Or we can even start farming crops so we can get into the feeding, because there's quite a lot. Remember, most of us, mostly feed is being produced by the other, I don't like to, but it's produced by the other, not Blacks. So you'll find that they control the price and they control everything. But once we learn how to make our own feed and we start buying in bulk, we start working as a team. This one thing of being one man show, you're not gonna survive. It's just too big and it's too expensive. So if you are a group, it becomes better, because now you buy at a lesser price and you get motivated. If you feel demotivated, there's people close to you who will motivate you and say, let's go, it's doable, let's continue. You try and find ways to minimize the production cost so you can still be competitive. Because once you miss being your competitive advantage, then you are out of the game. Then you start now saying, people are not supporting Blacks, people are always buying from Spar, from Pick and Pay. You must ask them, because I remember with me, I went to at this other time, I went to Spar, and I was like, but how do you guys do this? How do you sell your chickens at a low price and still make money out of it? Whereas we are busy now struggling out there. And they're like, and then so, they were friendly enough. They were like, no, you need to find ways to reduce your production cost. Once you can do that, then you can even sell your chickens at 40 rands and still make money. So I've seen a lot of us, we Blacks especially, would sell, especially the others there, the rural, they'll sell chicken at 100 rands. Only one chicken. I'm like, but that's robbery. That's against the law. But now they'll say, like, but feed is expensive. I'm like, if we can manage the production cost, then we will win. So my brother, find farmers around, network, and you can even, because I know you are in my group, I remember your voice. So you can even text me on the side, and then we'll take it from there. We'll try and connect you with other farmers who would like to help you as well, because now it's all about networking. You can't be doing alone, and you can't be dying there alone. Say, I want to do it, who can help? Now help is everywhere. We want to get there, and the only way is to do it in unity, not in silo. Silo is going to take you 100 years to actually get, and you might not even get there. A lot tried, and you see now they're failing. It's because you want to do it in silo. I hope I've answered. I can't remember the first question though.
Definitely, you've answered my question. Well, my question was around, I'd like to want to be in the feed industry, whereby like I get my food, whereby like I'm producing feed, but what you've answered, networking and try to find a group of people that might actually that I might actually help around in terms of like realizing the business idea and making it a success. So yeah, you've definitely have answered me.
Yes,
And I'll
and all the
definitely, message you on the side whenever I can.
Okay.
Definitely.
Thank
Okay,
you
cool.
so much, Mr. Nyadzani. Is there anyone else with a question? Because we have about 7 minutes to go. Anyone else with a question? I wanted also just to maybe ask a little bit further from Mr. Nyadzani's question, because I think I can't pronounce the first name. So I'll stick to the struggle. I'll stick to the surname. The first one, seems to be a bit of an issue for me. I wanted to find out, as he asked, are there opportunities in the space of not necessarily having to farm the actual crops and or the chicken itself, but maybe us in our community, in our circle, we can be able to have gaps where you can say, okay, Precious is going to concentrate on the seeds, the seedlings themselves, or Precious is going to focus on, like you said, just putting his foot on the seeds, and just make on the feed itself. Is there a gap, or someone will say maybe the value chain, I'll come through in the way of maybe selling the chickens for you. Can I be your distributor? Are there opportunities? Because, sometimes some people are not as good in managing chickens. They might not have the same passion as you have, but maybe they can focus maybe in just having the feed. And then there's a pool of this, or some can focus on the vaccination. I heard you talk of the antibiotics. I heard you talk of the vaccination. I heard you talk of water. Can they be, because I know we are talking of if you are going to do farming in a bigger scale, in terms, especially on the chicken space, you need the infrastructure, right? You need the building. So can someone say actively, Precious, I supply these structures that you can just buy from me, and then you put them at the back of your house, and then this is able to, I think if someone can zero in on that, there's an opportunity, because I'm looking at a situation where right now I have land, but I don't even know where to start. So I would want to engage someone who can tell me, you can get this structure there, you can get the chicks here, you can get the feed there, you can get the antibiotics. Are there gaps like that all the way until the chicken is sold?
There are, because what we've done with my husband, especially in our business, what we did is that we had people who didn't have land or didn't know how to grow chickens, and are mostly not even interested in growing them, but they know how to sell. So what we did in order to assist them and create more jobs for them, we were like, no, you can't be our distributor. So we've got in each town, we've got maybe 2 or 1 or there. Then we know that whenever our chickens are ready, we just deliver that 500 to that one person, 200 there. Don't want to farm. They know how people. So it all comes back to networking. And I've got a lady who texts me and says, like, no, Lebo, I've got, I want to supply you with sawdust, most of sawdust, where the shaving, the wood shaving. Yes. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea, business idea, because there's only few people who sell. So you can sell actually anything. You can supply anything.
Then it makes sense if there's a revenue model to say, at this stage of farming, there's money that can be made just by securing the chicks. You can capitalize on this. At this stage, there's money that can be made. And I think if that can be clear, a lot of people can come into farming, but focusing on different
like there's people who are making chicks only. You just buy the incubator and you only get chicks from you. You supply once the chickens are ready, we buy chicks from you. And then there are those with feed. You also, so there's quite a lot of things. The value chain is so big. Like I was explaining that even the abattoir, you can even have an abattoir. Say, no, I only slaughter chickens. I don't grow chickens. I only slaughter and give to people. That's it. So you just find that space and networking and getting into these groups, and then you find your feed and find where you're actually interested. Because there are people who are not interested in farming, but they can sell. They are good at selling and they know a network of people.
Wow. For me, I would just want for you to just, maybe if you could just come up with that revenue model for us, it would really help. It would really help. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Sometimes people don't have, we don't have time, but there are other things we can leverage on and be able to be productive. So it would be interesting to know what other things can we do. Then we have because what we are trying to do is to build an economy for upcoming farmers. What we are trying to do is to build something that continues to grow. Yeah. Dorothy, do you have any question? I think you've been, I think you might have something. Dorothy Mabilu?
Hi. I've put a comment on what I wanted to say to comment about it. It's actually your first question about what products are selling fast, especially on veggies. So I just wanted to advise those who want to as starters that they can plant green peppers, because once you harvest, you're gonna harvest continuously.
Wow.
Really?
And they have business. They make
and
money.
we are most needed. Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
So yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
it.
So how long does it take to grow them? Dorothy went.
Is she left? Has she left? Dorothy?
Hi. Yeah. Hello.
How long? Yeah, how long does it take to grow the green? Yes, we can hear you. How long does it take to grow the green peppers? The peppers.
About 4 to 6 weeks.
Hmm.
But once you start harvesting, then you can harvest weekly from the same seedling.
Wow. It's like spinach. Everything is 6 weeks, ne?
Yeah,
So
it's
you
like
can have your
spinach.
chicken.
It's like
So you can
spinach.
have your chickens, like spinach and green peppers. After 6 weeks, you are ready to harvest. So there's quite a lot
Yes.
of money.
But I wanted to ask, in terms of space and size, how much of land would you need? I think this is directed to Dorothy, because you seem to have more knowledge on the paper one. How much space do I need, and how much harvest do I make? If you can share that as well.
Okay, in terms of space, it depends on your market. How are you selling the quantity of what you're selling? So from one seedling, you can have about more than 10 peppers.
Wow. Yeah, imagine.
I'm
No.
going to be a pepper farmer, I promise you.
No, we're planting peppers now.
Please
I
do,
want
you won't
spinach.
regret.
No, I'm doing that as well.
Wow. And then in terms of pesticides and things like that, is it hectic? Does it require a lot of things? And water?
It doesn't really require a lot of things. It's just that it's sensitive. It easily attracts infection. So you need to get your hubby. Please come and assist me with these terms.
Yeah, we need
gone.
them, eh?
Okay,
We need them.
come and explain the green pepper. Green pepper. Okay, repeat your question. He will answer.
I was asking how much of water, pesticides does green pepper require a lot of work, or in terms of keeping it to grow without infection and so forth?
Green pepper.
Mm.
Well, the only challenge with you must be able to control your spraying of the green pepper, because if you over spray it or you put more spray that is not according to the liters of the water that you have, you will end up having some spots there, and those spots they'll eventually make the green peppers to rot. Ne?
Mm.
Then to produce good quality, you must also have enough water and ensure that there's pruning when immediately after they produce. Now you must prune them so that they become fresh for the next flowering season. I'm not sure if I've tried to answer your question, but basically you must with the pesticide application or any other thing that you're applying there, make sure that you have the correct measurements, because if you don't have the correct measurements, then you are likely to experience some rot. And there are other challenges with the sun. If they're too much exposed to the sun, then they get burned and the routes into a rot as well.
So what weather would be good for like in terms of like South African weather, which region would make sense to grow pepper?
I would say anywhere you can plant, as long as maybe the other option in hot areas, make sure you plant them under shades, then they'll probably do well. But in other places, yeah, you don't need too much of cold as well. Just the moderate temperatures are goodest, but in hot, very much hot areas like your Megaswat
Limpopo.
areas, you need to be careful in terms of not exposing them to too much light.
Okay.
But can I use tunnels? Tunnels.
Tunnels are the preferred method, in fact, or
Yeah.
you use the shade nets. There you are
Yeah.
guaranteed of good quality.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Sorry?
I was thinking tunnels because I've heard somebody say tunnel.
Yeah, tunnels and the shade nets, they do well on the green peppers. Yeah, you'll not go wrong. But basically avoid too much sun. It's not good. It's not good at all.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Precious, we are doing peppers.
Yes, of course, we are going to hold each other accountable.
So we are doing peppers, Precious.
Yes. Finally, we got something to plant on that land.
Yay.
Is there anyone with a burning question
there was a
before
comment
we give label?
There was a comment.
I've seen, I think we said that quite an informative session. My sister and I are glad we joined in. We are definitely adding green peppers in our backyard garden. Yay.
Yay.
And then Ceci said, I'm glad that I joined this session. I've learned a lot. Will you please repeat that place name where I can register the company? It should be CIPC, right?
Yes, CIPC.
Are there any affiliation bodies that that you can maybe just reiterate, label? And then someone is asking as well, Nomvula is asking where can she get tunnels? I think maybe affiliation bodies that farmers can affiliate themselves with at any stage, at any revenue model stage. And also
the SAPA. Okay, I know SAPA, South African Poultry Association. You can get there, and then you must go to your local agricultural office. They do have affiliations that they can direct you to. So it's very much, that's why I'm saying you must keep your agricultural office like close to you. Anything you want, you go to them, they'll let you know, they'll tell you.
Okay. Any closing remarks? Bui says that, Lebo, thank you for all the knowledge shared, bless you. Do you have any closing remarks that you have for the attendees today? Definitely, I think a lot of people are going to chase you to kind of like know more and do more. And we're gonna have you. I think we're gonna have you a lot more because, I just feel that sometimes we don't capitalize the resources and the opportunities around us, and we continuously crying foul. Yet there are opportunities everywhere if you really want to look at it. It's just a matter of perspective and your attitude around the opportunities. So really, yeah, I would just want you to maybe have a closing remark for the guests and before we close. Are you still good? Can you still hear us?
Oh, time. Nice. It was so nice. Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you, yes.
Oh, okay. No, I think it was your problem, Precious. Thank you everybody for joining, and thank you, Precious. The most important thing, let us grow our own food. We will not die of poverty. Grow, use your backyard, even if the space is so small, but grow your own food. Remember, we are not fighting each other, but we are fighting poverty, and we are doing it for the next generation. So let's keep the land, guys. Start where you are with what you have. So yeah, thank you, Precious, for the opportunity, and I really appreciate it. And if you really want to get to know us better, if you're not in my group already, please go to my Facebook and then search Farming with Lebo or Farming with Dr. Lebo. I can't remember, I have so many nicknames there. But yeah, just go to my Facebook page, Farming with Lebo. Just join there. There's a link. We have sessions every Thursday, and then we try and help each other as much as we can. I'm also learning, like now I've learned peppers, and I see my husband is here. So tomorrow, I'm going to tell him that we need to plant peppers. They said it's 6 weeks. So yeah, thank you so much, Precious. Thank you.
would love to thank you as Vessels of Virtue. We are passionate about empowering people, transforming mindsets. So we are grateful that you took time to be with us today. We have learned a lot, and from every contribution, we are really grateful to everyone who took their time to log in and were a part of this session. Thank you so much for joining this masterclass. We hope that you also be able to share. The YouTube link is available as well if you'd want to go back and have the conversation. Otherwise, have a blessed evening and a wonderful weekend. We really appreciate you. Thank you, Lebo. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye.